This is a vain, superficial thing, 100%, but I'm not going to pretend I'm above it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Too Smart for This, a podcast for the girls who are smart and superficial and everything in between. I'm your host, Alexis Barber. I am 23. I live in LA and Brooklyn, and I work full-time in big tech. This week and this month is a new month. You guys know I live for a new month. I live for goal setting. I love having the fresh feeling of getting started with something, and August is going to be a much needed reset, rebuilding month for me. The theme for this month of the podcast was supposed to be being a hot girl summer vibes, and I wanted to talk to you all about how I've reconnected with my body and how I'm trying to just be more confident in my appearance, and how it's important to remember that, being hot is a mindset. It's not really a, thing. But July hit me. July hit me real bad. And so I am down bad mentally, and August needs to be a reset, rebuilding month. And so we're going to sort of combine the themes of being your best self and trying to, rebuild, and after you've been through something tough, and how routine helps us with that. So welcome back to the show. This is our August theme. I hope you loved our episode with Sierra, aka Average CC, on Monday. And the guests this month are amazing. So you have a lot to watch for. So definitely make sure, if you haven't already, you've subscribed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and that you've subscribed on YouTube as well, because I do post these solo episodes on my YouTube channel. So go watch them. Now, if you aren't already familiar, I lost my grandmother a few weeks ago now. I also moved to LA at the same time. And I'm also coming up on a year at my role at YouTube, meaning that promotion is hopefully on the horizon. So I feel a lot of pressure coming at me in a few different areas, not to mention I relaunched this podcast less than a month ago, and that's a whole extra added layer of things to do. When all of these things sort of came to a head in July, I just felt that familiar feeling of feeling so overwhelmed you don't even know what to do with yourself, and super emotionally drained as well. Emotionally in need of a reset, physically in need of a reset, mentally in need of a reset. I wanted to talk about some things that helped me get through a hard time, and that are helping me get through a hard time, and sort of make this like a little bit of like a favorites video, some things that I just like really rely on whenever I'm in a hard place. And then for the rest of the month, we'll talk about the routines that have helped me get out of like a tough place, and the routines that I've been using to really settle into LA. So first, to answer your questions about LA is so fun. As you can see, we're in a new background here. We're in a new location. I have a whole office in my LA apartment, which is really nice. I'm in the process of putting everything away and together, which is nice. I think overall, I haven't done too much socializing here for the sole reason of just being emotionally drained, but I am loving the food. I'm loving the lifestyle of being able to walk everywhere because I live in a walkable neighborhood. But most importantly, it's not like all of my walks are relaxing. Like in New York, if you go on a walk is exhausting because there's tons of people around you. Some wild incident is bound to be taking place. And that's not true in LA. Obviously in LA, there's crazy things happening everywhere too. But I just feel like I can walk through, the sun is shining, the houses are beautiful, and have a great time. And all the food that we've had here is so good. I think this is an unpopular experience or opinion, but Jeff and I could never find top tier food in New York because there's so many restaurants, but none of them were exquisite. We have to go back incredible. In LA, we found countless of those. So far, this place called Isabel, Ysabel, has been so good. We love Howlin' Ray's. We love Sugarfish, obviously, but when we don't want to spend the Sugarfish money, we order from Rice and Nori, which is so delicious. As my little LA check-in, things have been great. I haven't really gotten back to work. I'm getting back to work this week. I'm going to be grinding this month in August. I have a lot of big goals for myself for this month, and I'm going to talk about them in this week's vlog on YouTube. Make sure you're watching for that because I'm going to talk you through what I want to do in August because July just like threw me off so much. These are the 8 things that have been helping me rebuild from a really like tough, low place that I've been in the last month. The first one is movement. I hate to be one of those people who realizes that exercise is actually that girl, but like it really is. Like I remember I never got into exercising as a young adult. So I think most people play sports when they grow up, and I danced for sure, but I grew up in a super chaotic household where nothing was ever consistent. So I never consistently worked out or moved my body or anything. And so I had to learn how to do that in college. I've had to teach myself and like get those benefits myself of movement. And it wasn't until these last few months of actually consistently working out and then taking a break and then going back to it that I've noticed the results. So I've noticed like not only physical results of my body changing, which are always encouraging, but when I don't work out for a while and then I do, the dopamine hit, the endorphins afterwards are so crazy. So this month, like I'm really prioritizing movement. I just wanted to share that when I was in a deep, dark place, like my instinct is to do nothing and just sort of like go to ground zero. Movement actually really helped me come out of that and be in a better mood. And of course, like I still had a lot of emotions. It doesn't like solve everything, but it solves a lot. What I like to do are long walks, but that's sort of like baseline for me. Like 10 to 14,000 steps a day is my baseline. Workouts for me are weightlifting, and I have a trainer right now, but the weightlifting apps that I really like to use are the Alive app by Whitney Simmons. That app is so well done. I can't even express it. It is so well done. And the Shreddy app by Beverly. I also really like this app, mostly because Shreddy was the first guide I ever downloaded when I started learning how to work out. Those are some apps to think about. And obviously the Peloton app is incredible too. So movement is the first thing. The second thing is the book Burnout. This book, I bought it on like the flight back from LA a few months ago, and I've been digging into it. And I just have to say that this book is really mind altering. Like it's so helpful and it digs deep into the science of why so many women feel burnt out all the time and why so many women are struggling to get things done. And it talks about something called the stress cycle, which is this like cycle that's scientifically backed like in our bodies. They give us tips for how to complete the stress cycle because a lot of us have incomplete stress cycles. Like, for example, if you experienced trauma and you never really resolved that through some of the things like movement or community that are supposed to help complete the stress cycle, you have a lot of pent up feelings in your body. And so it gives you tools to address that. And I just find this book to be, it's like obviously heavy to be reading while you're like down bad because it's scientific, but it's so well written and it has really tangible takeaways that I really appreciate. That is part of the reason I'm prioritizing movement because of the scientifically backed, like exercise is the number one thing to help you get through what you're going through. So love that book. The third thing are inspirational affirmations-based podcasts. Ones I like to listen to are The Leading Edge. They're like Abraham Hicks ones. And then I also like to just search like affirmations on YouTube. Like I love listening to a podcast, but I cannot always ingest that much information 24/7. So like I love to sit and listen to a podcast, but I really don't love having to process what they're talking about. Sometimes I just need something inspirational in my ears. So the Leading Edge podcasts from Abraham Hicks are all about like law of attraction and affirmations and stuff, but mostly they're just telling you like calm down. Things are coming to you, life is in motion. And I find that really helpful because I am someone who's always trying to go. And these really help me like come back to myself. So I love these podcasts and also just like search on YouTube, like affirmations for women or something. Having that on in the background helps me get that like having to have media in the background on, but also helps me like just prime my mind for being more positive and being more calm. So I really like that. The next one in a similar vein is music. I'm recording this right after the new Beyonce album came out, and something I forget to do a lot is listen to music. Like, I feel like I am the type, and let me know if you all are like this too, the type that is always listening to a podcast or an audiobook because you internalize that need to be productive at all times and you forget to listen to music. But also, music for me elicits really intense emotions. Like, whenever I listen to like a sad song, I will cry. Like, that's why I don't always listen to music that often, because I feel like it affects me so much. But when you listen to songs and music that are really empowering and exciting, then like it can actually be a great tool. I have been finding music as the best way, and like just like dancing in my living room as a really good way to just like disconnect and like remind myself to enjoy the moment. Obviously, this new Beyonce album is giving me everything I needed and more. My favorite tracks so far are Cozy, Plastic Off the Sofa, Virgo's Groove is so good. Like, I'm obsessed. I feel like Beyonce has released albums. I don't know if it was at super pivotal moments in my life or in my like evolving as a human, or if her music was just such a big impact on me that it felt like it was a pivotal part of my life. But like, I Am Sasha Fierce came out when I was like at the end of my childhood, like really just like, I don't know, like that's when I first like discovered that I liked music, like it was my first intro to it, other than like Justin Bieber and Demi Lovato. Oh my God, was anyone else a Demi Lovato? Don't. That album, girl, they gave us everything that they needed to do and more. Period. And then Lemonade came out in 2016, and that was when I graduated from high school. And it just made me feel so proud to be a Black woman at that point. And like, it was so important for me to have that before I went to college. It was amazing. Oh my God. What a time. But anyway, music really does just get it done for me. And so I have this playlist called Bad Bitch Anthems. I'll link it down below. Putting that on can really can be the first thing to get you out of a funk. Like, when you notice you're feeling down or you're going into a negative spiral, putting that on in the background, like, you can't help but like raise your emotions, you know? The fifth thing to really help, that really helps me when I'm down bad, is Pinterest instead of social media. I took like a week off of social media, and instead of scrolling through things like TikTok or Instagram or even Twitter, I love Twitter because that is where the jokes are. That is like so fun for me. I love to be on Twitter. You guys are never getting my Twitter. Like, Twitter is my only social media platform that I don't have to perform on. It's so nice. I love scrolling through Twitter, but it can be a dark like time to go through. So anyhow, I love scrolling through Pinterest instead because it's just inspirational, it's just fun, it's creative, gets you excited, definitely gets you to shop. But I love Pinterest so much, and so instead of scrolling on social media, I'll just go on Pinterest on my phone. And so I replaced where the Instagram app is on my home screen with Pinterest, so that when I'm clicking, I go into that instead. I don't compare myself to the people on Pinterest. I just get inspired and have fun. And I think that's what social media should be sometimes. So that's really helped me because it occupies my mind while I'm also like scrolling, going through that like whole process of what social media like feels like, but it doesn't have the negative effects at all. So I love it. The next thing is taking care of my physical appearance. So this is a vain, superficial thing, 100%, but I'm not going to pretend I'm above it. This is for the smart and superficial girls, period. So I feel as though taking care of what I look like really has a huge impact on my mood. Making sure I keep up with my nail appointments, making sure I keep up with my hair appointment. Not that I like usually get my hair done. I haven't gotten my hair straightened this often in a while, but I've been so tired of my curly hair, y'all. So tired of it. I just feel like it's so childish right now. Like, I'm not feeling it at all. So I've been going to Dry Bar. For the Black girls going to Dry Bar, like, obviously I don't have 4C hair. I have 3C, 3B hair. And so I have a lot of it. It's very long. So it takes about an hour and a half for them at Dry Bar from start to finish of shampooing, conditioning, blow drying, and then flat ironing. And it lasts me a while, and I really like it. I also just like that it's in every city. So if I'm ever traveling, I can go to a Dry Bar. And like, I've only done this consistently like 3 times, so don't hold me to it. But as long as you call before and tell them like I have black hair, they usually do it. And so that's been nice for me. And then getting my nails done, I started getting hard gel instead of Gel X. I've been getting Gel X for like a year now at Lexi Nail Spa in New York. but I switched when I visited them right before I left to hard gel because I didn't want to extend. My nails were getting long, and Gel X helps them stay healthier. So they were getting longer and healthier. So she suggested I just do hard gel. And so look at them. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see they're really long. They look so good. And just having that done makes me feel like a whole person. And that when I look in the mirror, I'm not more frustrated by what I look like, and that I can continue to get my life together. The next one is avoiding mind-altering substances like alcohol. I'm not going to say I did this perfectly for the last weeks while I was not doing well, but I did take a break from alcohol alone, and it not only really helped my sleep and really helped my results from working out, but it also just made me feel a lot better. So that's what I'm also doing for this month of August, is taking that break. It's not so much that it makes you do crazy things. It's just that the way that alcohol can affect your sleep is what affects your whole life, so if I am going to drink, I'm trying to limit to 1 or 2 glasses because I can so clearly tell, especially with my Aura Ring, how badly alcohol fucks with your sleep. That's just something that I would just suggest avoiding. And if you guys want to know my whole sleep routine, I have a crazy sleep routine. That is my number one thing. I can give it to you later, but it's so important. And the last thing is relying on my network of people. I tend to isolate when I get emotionally charged. Something I've been doing is forcing myself to respond to my texts for 10 minutes a day and just setting a timer and being I'm going to answer these people, or calling one person a day. That's not my boyfriend. Love my boyfriend, but he's an extension of me at this point. Being able to chat with my girlfriends or my guy friends really has helped me just remind myself that I have a life to enjoy. I'm really happy and healthy, and I want to connect with the people that love me. And that can be so helpful when you're not feeling your best. It helps me avoid social isolation, which is my go-to when I'm really sad. And so setting a little Alexa timer, don't go off please, when I need to do that really helps me to just, come back to earth. So that's my update on my feelings about LA, as well as the things I do to pull myself out of a slump. Next week, we're chatting routines and how to make the best ones for yourself. So be sure to stick around for that. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at 2Collective and follow me everywhere at Alexis Barber. I'm going to be sharing a lot of vlogs and stuff and apartment updates on TikTok and Instagram this week, so you don't want to miss it. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget that you are too smart to not love yourself.